You are healing. You are climbing out of the pit. You made big sacrifices, said no to instant gratification, tracked every coin, and then one day you didn't. One coffee, one ride, one click. You called it small, but the slide had already begun. This is the anatomy of financial relapse. And by the time you start feeling broke again, it's too late. Stay with me. Hi, I'm Miss Wangui Muithathi, your personal finance and investment coach, and welcome back to my channel. Do you know that slide is silent? It never announces itself. Nobody wakes up and says, today, now today. Nobody in their right mind wakes up and decides to sabotage everything that they've built financially. No, it all begins in silence. This is where you skip checking your bank balance just for today. You delete your expense tracking app because you're too afraid to face it. And you say, I'll budget tomorrow. So you buy a snack, a lipstick, a gadget, whatever eases that itch in your brain. Your finger taps, buy now. But it's not about the item. It's about the numbness. The scariest part of relapse is how reasonable it looks in the beginning. But it's not the money that ruins you. It's what is happening in your mind. Relapse starts as self-deception. The lies that you tell yourself. You hear it in your mind. I deserve this. It's only 2,000 bob. Or something like, I'll fix it next time. But you don't fix it. You forget because you're human. And you bury it. You stop logging expenses. You mute reminders. And your future self, you silence her voice completely. You're not spending money. You're spending clarity. You're spending control. You're spending time. This isn't just about behavior. It's about emotional decay. Problem is, it spreads so fast. You begin to feel anxious when your phone lights up with a banking alert. You delay opening it. You start ignoring your statements. You begin to fear your own financial truth. And finally, the guilt creeps in. You start feeling ashamed, but you don't stop. You feel exposed, but you don't ask for help. And finally, you lie to others, to yourself. You start saying things like, I'm fine, even though your emergency fund is bleeding and your credit card is how you're buying bread. Psychologically, you've already checked out. And when emotions detach from your money, the system crashes next. What do I mean by the system crash? You see something like your savings account, it's stagnant, or worse, shrinking. You're dipping into it for just these ones, emergencies every week. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, your debt is crawling back, masked as convenience. Buy now, pay later, Fuliza, Mshwari. All of a sudden, you know about all instant mobile loans. You start borrowing, and you keep telling yourself that they are harmless. To make things worse, you can't even remember where last month's money went. You can't account for it. And you're still the same person who used to account for every shilling. Now, it's just, I don't know. This, my dear, is financial amnesia. And it's not caused by ignorance. It's caused by burnout, avoidance, and exhaustion. But not to worry, you can still catch it. But only if you're willing to confront yourself ruthlessly. Okay? Let me give you a cold self-intervention that might actually save your financial life. This is the relapse audit. Take 10 minutes weekly, no exceptions, and ask yourself these 3 questions. 1. Did I stick to my needs versus wants this week? 2. Is my debt lower than last month? And 3. Could I handle a 70,000 Kenya shillings emergency fund today? When you ask yourself those questions, look at how you feel answering those questions. If you feel guilty, avoidant, or even defensive, you're already in relapse. This is not therapy. This is warfare. Of course, against your own excuses. Beauty of it is, once you spot the relapse, you only have one choice. That is to reset and fast. What is this emergency reset? It can be something like freeze spending for 72 hours, no treats, no impulsive swipes. It can also look like opening your budgeting app and updating just one category. It can also look like you naming your trigger. Could be stress, loneliness, or boredom. Finally, you can tell someone, talk to someone you can trust, someone you can open up to, someone you can tell, I messed up this week. I bought X. Please help me reset. All that is part of an emergency reset. You have to do this because the shame grows in silence and shrinks when exposed. Don't think of this reset as some sort of punishment. Think of it as recovery, okay? Mindset. And here's the real truth about relapse, financial relapse, that no one tells you. Relapse doesn't mean you failed. It just means your system had a gap. It could also mean you didn't have a fun money category, or you didn't plan for grief spending, and you didn't build in boredom proofing. Relapse is feedback, and feedback is fuel. So fix the system, not just the symptoms. I'm Miss Wangui Muithathi, your personal finance and investment coach, and I'll see you in my next video.